Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 as we are playing as Great Britain. So before we begin in today's episode, I would like to mention something that I typically have to mention every time we play as a monarchy or just a non-aligned country in general, is that remember that their factions don't work the way a fascist or a communist faction works. So when you're playing as a fascist or a communist country, you often want to create a faction so that other communist and fascist countries will want to join you. That is not the case with the non-aligned countries. They typically will not join a faction unless you share a war. So a lot of people think, if I would create a faction right now, then we'd have all these countries like Japan or Russia if they're independent. They're currently under Japan right now, so that wouldn't be an option for them. But maybe Poland or any other unaligned country out there like the Ottomans or something. That these countries would then want to join our faction, and thus we can get some allies and become more powerful in preparation for the future conflicts. That's not how it would work. Nobody would join our faction unless we were already at sharing a war with them. And so if other countries were at war with the communists, then they would join our faction. So for instance, like, not Xinjiang, well, they are non-aligned. So if we were to say, create a faction, then Xinjiang, because they share a conflict with us, with the communists, would be very likely to join our faction, and you can already see that they would be willing to join our faction now, because we could create a faction with them because we share a war. But outside of sharing a war, nobody's gonna join your faction, and you can see that here with just the Ottomans, or looking at the Poland, or I guess it's Kingdom of Poland and Romania. They're not willing to create a faction with us. So that's the reason why I haven't created a faction, is because there's really no benefit to doing so outside of getting the Spy Master and an extra operative, which would be helpful, but I don't think it's a good enough bonus to basically end any chance we have of joining another faction, which one might emerge. Maybe Japan creates one that we want to join, or maybe they end up at war with somebody we're at war with, and we can create a faction together. So that would be an option. There's also other non-aligned countries in the world that we might want to ally with. So I don't want to eliminate that option of potentially joining somebody else's faction just to get the one extra operative, because again, there's really no benefit to doing so because nobody's going to join the faction. I just wanted to address it because there has been a lot of comments of people saying, oh, you should get this country to join your faction or get this country too. Remember, as a non-aligned country, it's just not an option, guys. The only countries that are going to join our faction are ones that we're already sharing a conflict with, which in the case of the war with the communists, there's no other countries outside of Xinjiang. So yeah, there's no reason to really create a faction just yet, and we cannot just ally with whoever we want. That's more of like a feature for fascists and communists, and to a more limited extent, democratic countries, because they'll get the threat, and they'll be more willing to join into conflicts and into factions that are at war that they're not already involved with. So democratic countries will do that. They're less likely than fascists and communists, but they will. But that is not how non-aligned countries work. They work quite a bit different than the other ideologies in the game. It's one of their major weaknesses, actually, is the way their factions work. But we can't see exactly what's happening with all the countries on their focus tree, like which focuses they're currently working on, to kind of see how things are shifting. But what we can do is take a look at the focuses they've already gotten and then see like which ones are currently available to them. So if we were to look at the Germans here, we can see which route they're going, and you can see that they did not go with the accept British naval dominance and thus to request an alliance with us. They are going down the opposition route to the British, where they build their own fleet. They do Our Place in the Sun, which will reduce the opinion. They've already done that, so our opinion with them has been reduced. And then they've got the Central Powers, which I don't know if they got that focus or if it was bypassed because of the Ottoman one. So from here, they can do the Prepare the Italian Coup, and thus assassinate Mussolini and create a monarchy state in Italy. And we could let them do that, and then the Italians will be in the Central Powers. We could also do that one focus to try and stop the Germans and the Italians from allying. I don't know if that'll impact this, though. They might still be able to do it. Yeah, it's a possibility. Hard to say exactly. But yeah, that's one option. And from there, they'll be able to go for this one, and then this is the one that's going to give them the war goals against us, and as well as the French, and likely start the conflict. So if they start going down this route, then we could see conflict with the Germans fairly soon. We'll just have to see what they end up doing. But that's what Germany's got. So I think we will end up being in conflict with them. Now, somebody pointed out that we can already join the German faction if we wanted to. They're willing to accept us into the Central Powers, but we don't really want to do that. I think it would be too easy if we did it, because Germany's pretty powerful, and then you got Austria-Hungary, and then maybe the Ottomans as well, and maybe Italy. And so I don't think that's the best way to go, because, you know, we take out the communists. You still got America over here. You know, we're going to take the Chinese out in this war too. So, I mean, you kind of have the communist war, but after that, who are you really going to fight? Japan and Russia, I suppose. But that's about it. So, yeah, I'd prefer to probably fight the Central Powers. That's what I'm thinking we're going to do. We'll have that border with them over here once we conquer the French on the Maginot Line and all those high level 10 forts. So I think that's the route we're going to go. Now with Austria-Hungary, we can go and take a look and see what they're going to get in their focus tree, which is down over here. We might see them go to war with the Italians. I would kind of prefer that to happen, for the Central Powers to go to war with the Italians. They could also go to war with the Poland, Romania country here. Oops, that's Ukraine. Yeah, the Kingdom of Poland, Romania. Could see them go to war with them as well. I think they actually have a faction to join the Central Powers. That's right here, seek an alliance with the Kaiser. They haven't taken it yet, but that's a possibility. So they could end up joining that faction, and then the Central Powers would be even more powerful. So that's a real possibility. It doesn't look like they can do this one right now, but that could lead to further conflict too. So that's their focus tree. Take a look at the Ottomans, see which route they're going. You can see that they're trying to align Bulgaria right now. Now, I'm not sure what exactly that'll do. They'll demand their subjugation. Oh, that's interesting. So Bulgaria could end up becoming a subject of the Ottomans. And one of the more interesting things in their faction tree here is if they go this route, then they can create their own faction with Afghanistan, Iraq, and Iran, and thus not join the Central Powers. And so that would be an interesting development, because you'd have one more faction here, non-aligned faction here in Europe. We're kind of in Europe. They're more in the Middle East than anything else. But, you know, they have this territory here in Europe, and then they'll have the Bulgarians as a subject if they accept it, and maybe even Greece here. So they have some lands in Europe. But then they would have this alliance here with Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan. And somebody had proposed attacking Iraq for their oil here. And if we were to do that, you'd want to do it before they join the faction, or I guess you could do it after, and then you'd have to fight all of them. And then we'd conquer all this territory. So that'd be an option too, I suppose. But that's their focus tree, looking at the Russians here and what they got next. So as far as like attacking other countries, this would allow them to attack Germany. They can't do that one because the French are communists, so they can't do the triple entente. That won't be an option. And plus they have to be independent, which they're currently not. Somebody told me they do have a focus to become independent. Maybe it's over here? No, that's not it. That has to do with trying to reconquer the territory they lost. But yeah, somewhere they're supposed to have a focus that'll allow them to rebel against the Japanese, and I hope they do that. So that could end up being a conflict too. Russia and Japan, which is what we planned to have happen in this campaign, and just didn't. We have Qing China as well, which they should eventually do their independence war. The Japanese, I want to say they don't really have any focuses that are going to give them war goals. I don't think. We can't even see any of their focuses. Okay, it's just completely unknown to us. We don't have enough intel with them. One thing I did notice is that Australia has gone fascist. So yeah, they have a fascist party there, which there's not a lot of fascists in the world, just Australia and Italy and a couple other countries, smaller countries, and they got Venezuela as well. Yeah, there's not a lot of fascists in the world. But Australia did go that route. Looks like New Zealand has stayed democratic, as has Canada. South Africa has also gone fascist, though they're currently still democratic. The fascists have 56% control, so they'll eventually go full fascist here. They are still in the Commonwealth of Nations with Canada, and they're the leader, so I assume they'll leave that faction the moment they become fascist. But I believe this route might result in them attacking us in Africa. Gotta find where that part of their focus tree is. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But I want to say this should give them war goals somewhere. Yeah, here you got a war goal against Great Britain. So yeah, they very well might likely attack us before we even attack them. So that's a real possibility. We'll have to move some of these troops here down to the south. Remember, I did mention in that pinned comment that we're going to want to probably conquer Madagascar, get control of this. You know, it's got 23 rubber, and we also don't want the French to be able to launch invasions into Africa from here. So yeah, we might do an invasion into Madagascar, but we'll also want to put some troops up along this border here with South Africa and maybe get the supply situation improved for that war. That will eventually happen. As soon as we're done with all this over here, we'll have all those extra divisions to send somewhere. Since we looked at everybody else, might as well look at the rest of the major powers, if we can see them. The fascists, because of the lower intel, we can't see what they're working on, or what they've done so far. We can see what France has worked on, since we do have one of our operatives there. We can see what they have done anyways. Can we see their current focus? We cannot. So yeah, they can get the forts there. I'm looking for actual like war goals here, who they might end up attacking. I suppose it would be down the foreign and the popular front. And looks like there's no war goals anytime soon. They're pretty far from finishing this focus tree up. And so I think those are all down here for them like joining factions and attacking people. So we won't see France do anything while we're at war here, which is good because I don't want them to go to war with anybody else like the Italians or the Germans, and thus we'd have to deal with them in the peace treaty. So hopefully we should have nobody else in this peace treaty but us. The only other country I think we would want to look at now is the Americans. We'll see exactly how far they've gotten on their focus tree. So they haven't got the end monarchism yet, and that would give them those war goals against all the monarchies in the world, which is what we want them to take. They also have one for securing China, and then they'll seek to join the mutual assistance bloc, so be in that faction. So that's one way they can end up going to the faction. I wish we could see what they're working on. I almost want to put an operative over there. Where is our other operative? Still in Turkey? Yeah, let's move her over to America. I want to see what they're doing over here. I think that'd be good to know what focus they're working on. So we're going to move her over to the United States because we're not even going to war with the Turks anytime soon. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started in the episode. I talked for a lot longer than intended there, but I wanted to take a look at what everybody was doing. So with our units here, because we do have a bit of army experience to spend, one person pointed out that the Windsor Warriors, the motorized troops, actually already have more done than the armored yeomen. So we could save a lot of experience if we just duplicated them, which is what I did. So we now have the armored yeomen down here, and this one is the old one that we'll get rid of, and we'll just make adjustments to this one with that experience and add some tanks into here. I think this is the better way to go, though it does cost 35 experience, probably because we'd have to change all these up here. Yeah, so we'd need a little bit more experience. Let me just see if we can just do this differently. So we don't want to put the motorized back, anything that's not going to cost us experience, and then just removing these to remove the experience. We don't have 25, so we're going to have to wait a little bit. And besides, we probably don't want it to just have one tank anyway. So the best option would probably be to wait till we have the 35 experience. But yeah, the advantage of using this, of course, is that you already have the engineer companies. You already have the recon, though we would have to change this one because it's the cav one. And we'd prefer to have the armored recon company. And so this is slowing the whole unit down. So that's another thing that you need to spend experience on. Is it cheaper? I think it's still cheaper. That's 10 experience. And then of course you have to do the whole new line of tanks, but you'd have to do that anyway with motorized and the extra cost of that, so that doesn't really count. So yeah, I think this is still cheaper. Yeah, these two would offset each other. So it's definitely still cheaper, I think, to use that one. So that's what we'll do. We also already have the Naval Invasion set up, so all these units need to move to these locations. We'll let it play just here a little bit. We have 2 Naval Invasions set up here to invade into these 2 ports. Another thing I wanted to do is change up where we have this unit operating. We're going to move them to the Bay of Biscay and attempt to do naval strikes over there. And then we're going to move our fleet into that area. So put them onto the allowed. Although I think if we put a void, and then the trade routes should avoid that. But I guess we'd want the submarines to engage us so that our fleet would potentially be able to sink those. But yeah, what we could do here is then just move the fleet into the Bay of Biscay and just hope that they don't bomb us heavily. If they do, we might have to pull them out. But we will have the tactical bombers here to assist us, but they're not as good at the naval missions as the naval bombers or the close air support. And then the other thing we can do here, I think I already have them moving. We have to wait till they get over there. Yeah, the 6th of July. So tomorrow, we're going to do some with those close air support. Now remember, we're still trying to finish up this conflict here in Africa. Don't have that done just yet. We also have this army already set up too. And I had to get rid of a lot of the invasions that we had going. So this one here, which failed the last time we sent it. Failed again. We're going to need to give them some naval support or something like that, or air support or something for them to succeed there. And then this one here, I also canceled this invasion, so that we'd have more invasion capacity for France. Sunk 3 more convoys there. Okay. So they must have been trying to move troops over here. Or maybe they moved troops out. Who knows? I don't know how many they had there originally. Also trying to get this finished up here. So now we can go and attack. We have all these units here. So let's go and attack this one guy. He's completely cut off from supply, so we'll be getting him destroyed. He's finishing that up there. And then we're also trying to finish this up here, which we're very close to doing, to taking Casablanca. And Latvia joined the Central Powers. That's interesting. So I think the reason why they joined is because of a German focus. Maybe they just finished one up or something. Yeah, rekindle the imperial sentiment. They just finished that one. And that's decisions for these nations reform. Yeah, that wouldn't have caused it. I'm not entirely sure why they just joined. That's interesting, though. But what's this might result in is war between the Kingdom of Poland, Romania, and the Central Powers, because remember, their focus has a war goal for them to attack Livonia. So this will give them a war goal against Estonia and Latvia. So that's a real possibility that they could end up being at war now if the Polish decide to take that focus and then use the war goal. And we did anticipate that they would be fighting each other. It's just happening much later than it would if Germany was fascist. Sunk quite a few submarines over here, so trying to get that French submarine force dealt with. We got the improved radar, which does mean we need to add this to our ships. But we're getting the new ships, the 1940 ships, so probably not going to do that. Yeah, I think we're just going to wait. And did that give us... Okay, we already had the next radio for the tanks, the level 2s, which we got over here. But we never put those in place due to lack of army experience. So we're going to have to do that eventually, but not right now. So the next thing we want to go ahead and get, because we want to wait until we have the research bonus for these radar, because we have a focus that's going to grant us 3. And so we're going to wait before we go any further on that. And it's not like we don't have plenty of stuff to do right now. We could get more naval techs, and I'm really tempted to do that. We also need to get the bonuses here. Need to continue getting these as well. And we haven't gotten everything here just yet either. We haven't gotten the material designer either, which give us a nice research bonus for that. I think we're going to work on the naval techs, guys. I really want to get these ships built, these newer ships. And one of the things delaying us is that we don't have all the different parts for them just yet. So we're currently working on the cruiser hull. So let's go ahead and go after the cruiser armor. We can get that in 45 days. Over here we sunk another convoy. Continuing having that success sinking those convoys, which again, most of those are troop convoys. Finland just joined the Central Powers. So the Central Powers continues to expand. They often do get fairly large. And so now you can see that they're creating a front up along Russia. So they have Latvia and Finland here. And so they really need to get this border here. So I don't know, man. I really think war with Kingdom of Poland and Romania is going to start with the Central Powers. And if that happens, I do think they would likely lose that. We lost one of our submarines, unfortunately. I actually have some convoy escorts there. It's probably just one of the older ones, though. So we should have gotten these guys over here now. If I'm not mistaken, let's just take a look. It's close air support. Oh yes, I have them doing the naval bombing here. And we're going to switch them up. We're going to change these close air support to doing port strikes. Because we know that at least some of the French fleet is in port. And so we're going to try and find them. So we'll bomb here first because there's a bunch of ports in this location. And so this is the most likely place they are. So we'll try doing some bombing there. We might want to throw some fighters over there to support the close air support so we don't get a bunch of them shot down. And so we'll just put these guys over here. And see if we can have some success doing some bombing there. If we don't, we'll just move it. And sometimes when you're doing the support strikes, you just gotta move them around and try and find where the fleet is located. And it looks like we did find the fleet. There's the battleship. Yep, so that's the fleet that's been hiding. They're up here in the north, and we've already sunken 2 destroyers there. All right, fantastic. And that's great news. And if they try and leave port to go somewhere else, then maybe our fleet will engage them, or the naval bombers that are located here might engage them. Looks like there's also some ships over here. So yeah, this is going to work out nicely for us, I think. Yeah, we're already doing some damage to those bigger ships. So this is one way for us to get those ships destroyed. And this is just not disappearing. Sunk more convoys over here. And you notice they're not attacking anymore, which is interesting. So what all we have left to do over here? Alright, so we'll let them leave to take that port. We're also trying to get them cut off from their avenue of retreat here. And we can go ahead and grab these 2 locations up. It looks like they're trying to get there first. Let's go ahead and have this guy come here and him go there. We'll throw this guy over there as well, whoever gets there first. And then see how we're doing on getting this finished up. Almost there. We might be done in Casablanca. We are. That means we can assign more divisions over here, but we can't assign all of them because we only have like 3 slots remaining. Come on, there we go. So that's all we got left. If we wanted to take these other 2, you could see it's not an option to assign those. So we're going to pull those out for right now. That's something I want to do with them. We're going to go and get these guys training here, since they did take some losses, mostly due to attrition here. And then I really want to send these guys back to the homeland here, or to over to Asia, to the Asian front. What I think we might do is have them do these naval invasions over here, so we can finally get this wrapped up, which we've been having some difficulty with. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take these 2 divisions and send them on over to here, and they'll do the attack over there. And then this division is going to come over to here. And let's just hope they don't get engaged in the sea by those French submarines that have been out there. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Another battle over here. Sunk 5 convoys. I'm not sure if those are troop convoys or just supply convoys. Let's go and grab this location. So they tried to stop us there from cutting them off. That did not work out for him. Alright, so he's going over here now. Excellent. And we have a bunch of port strikes over here. 71% there. Just not bombing them fast enough there. They have moved out though. At least one ship has. And we've almost got him destroyed. Yeah, his a cruiser with no screens. So I think the submarines are what did the damage, because we don't even have our planes here. So I think the submarines got lucky and hit him with a couple torpedoes because he's got no screening. So that was kind of silly of them to move that heavy cruiser out there. I think we just sunk it. Yeah, we just sunk the French heavy cruiser. That's the first capital ship we sunk in the war. That's a nice victory for us, which I don't think we would have forced them out without doing the port strike. So this has helped out. We are taking some casualties here with our planes. I don't know if they have anti-air here. There's no anti-air in this location or this location. So maybe it was fighters or something. Yeah, because they don't have any anti-air. Or the ship's anti-air, I suppose, could have shot those down. Yeah, that's a real possibility. Lost more submarines down here. Well, that's concerning. That we keep losing submarines over there. Alright, well, we're going to want to replace those losses, which I already have a couple submarines here to do that. They are the old submarines. So I suppose it's not surprising that we lost those. They typically take kind of high casualties, those early submarines. Let's see what happened over here. We did lose a convoy. Didn't do much damage to the submarines either. Over here, losing more planes. Okay. These are troop convoys that are coming through here. Okay, so a lot of things happening in the sea right now. Just about finished up there. Got those troops going off across the sea. We'll see if they can get over there or not. Let's go and start grabbing this territory. I really want to get that airbase. I think they might be bombing us from here. Maybe that's why we're losing the submarines. I didn't see who did the damage to the submarines, but if I had to assume anybody, it would be the The planes were the ones who did that. Alright, so we want to go ahead and probably attack here now and get these, or I guess it's only one unit. The other one must have retreated. But yeah, get them destroyed. And don't really want to attack across that river. I don't think we'll need to. Yeah, we'll be good to go here. So let's just take these two and put them onto this front here, so we can get that finished up over there. And those guys have been wiped out as well. Fantastic news. Alright, so let's go ahead and take these troops here and move them over to these ports here. We won't do the naval invasion yet. I mean, we can give them the naval invasion, I suppose, so they can get it planning. But they won't actually be able to be assigned. So yeah, we're going to take all of them and put them over here, all 5 divisions. I don't think we need to move them any further north. Yeah, they're repairing those capital ships about as fast as we can do the damage. So we won't be able to sink them like that. Could always send more bombers onto that task, though. Might be worth it. As you see, we are doing some damage to them. And of course, that means their dockyards are repairing rather than building new ships. Yeah, they keep on attacking here with no success. But if they keep sending more troops there, then they could see some success. We just got the Hawker Typhoons, so we want to update our close air support line. Let's go ahead and do the Naval Bombers next. Got a nice research bonus for that. Alright, so let's go and get these updated here. And see what we did over here. Yeah, we are losing a lot of planes. Again, I think it's worth it. Even if we don't sink anything, it's still worth it. So we have all these planes out here doing these bombings, and maybe it would be better to move some of them back home to help us out over here on the port strikes. Suppose that would be an option. I know we have some planes over here, I think, that are training, or they should be training. Let's go and make sure that guy trains up. And this model here, this is going to be our really old bombers. So the Interwar Bombers. So you can see that I have it so it's a reserve air wing. And thus, as we build new tactical bombers, they will go into this one. So the Wellingtons will replace the Whitleys. And as that happens, the Whitleys will then come over to here and reinforce this, which is supposed to be 100. So let's go and make sure it's 100 planes. So we'll have like one air wing that just uses those really old bombers. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab the airbase next. And it looks like they have left here. Alright, because they did have some divisions over here. And it looks like they decided to leave. Which is probably wise of them. I think it would probably end up resulting in us cutting them off and getting them destroyed. We did get that 1940 cruiser hull. Excellent. Still got several things we have to get before we'll be able to build the cruisers. Like, we might want to go and get the depth charges. That's a 100% research bonus, so you can get it in 53 days. You also need to get the guns, though, and that'll be 55 days. So what we're going to want to do is let's go ahead and only build one more of each of these cruisers, which are almost done. They'll be done next month. And we'll take a look and see if we can finish up that battleship as well. Naval experience has been a little bit of an issue for us. We were sitting on a lot of it for a long time, but now we're having some problems with it. I don't remember what all we had to do here. Yeah, we have just too much to do. Let me see exactly how much we need. 16 experience. So we'll get 16 more, and they'll make that adjustment. Also waiting for that couple more experience for the that tank division to make that adjustment. We got these troops over here training. Trying to get them back up to the full experience before we do the invasions. And we're going to get Africa wrapped up as well before we do those invasions. So just this area, and then this is going to be pretty quick here, I think. Since there's nobody here to stop us. So I should be able to get all this territory wrapped up, get that air base, so we don't have to worry about those bombers anymore. And we actually lost this, because they added another unit here. Okay, so that's surprising. Alright, so what we need to do then is send him over here. Yeah, we'll take, actually, you know, let's take this guy and put him here, and he can go here. Try attacking with 4 divisions. See if that'll work. Remember, those are really cruddy divisions. So that's why they're losing, even though they technically outnumber them division-wise. They probably don't outnumber them battalion-wise. Yeah, so continued success here in the channel. Getting those convoys sunk. They're bombing our submarines as well, though. And we do have, I think, the ability to get an air doctrine. Yep. So let's go ahead and get, probably not going to do that one because I don't do interception very often. We usually do air superiority. We'll just do the ground support because you only need one of these in order to get the next one, the naval strike tactics, which we definitely want for that efficiency. So yeah, we'll get the ground support here. And we're losing trains to enemy logistics airstrikes. So they're actually bombing us here. Well, that's interesting. So what we might want to do is have some of the fighters that are in the English Channel move over to here. We're also very much outnumbered over here as well. So let's go and add more ground crews there, so we'll have a little bit better efficiency. And I almost want to take the fighters. I think we will, because they're not really covering much over here. Let's take these fighters and have them come back and cover this area for us. Which I don't know how many they have here. Not much. You know what we're going to do? No, we won't do the more ground crews because we're short on command power. And I actually have one of our admirals here, Cunningham, who has an upgrade to get. It's just the Minesweeper mine layer, though. So I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think that's all that helpful. Now, one thing we could do is just have this mine layer focus on the channel, because mining up these areas is really not that useful, honestly. So it could have him being as like in his own separate task force. I guess he is in his own task force, but his own like fleet. Let's get a lot of convoys throughout here. Again, just all the troop convoys come through here. What's interesting is that Communist China is moving through here, which makes me think that they're sending troops to France. That's going to make France more difficult. They have not launched any attacks over here because of those high-level forts. We do have the army experience to make that adjustment. That thing's messing me up because it's not disappearing. So let's go and do that. So remember, we're doing the armored yeoman. We're going to throw these tanks into here. So light tanks, and then get the motorized step back up. Anything that doesn't require experience, just get them back to replace the ones that we lost there. And then let's go ahead and save that. But we can't change over to that until we get rid of this, you know, or change it up, because otherwise they're going to be super slow. I suppose we can go ahead and adjust them now. Yeah, might as well. So yeah, we're going to want to change them over to the new armored yeoman. And then take the old one and get rid of that. But we do want to remove that cavalry recon detachment so we can get their speed back up, because that's what's slowing them down. As you can see here, if we just added the tank ones, it goes back up to the 12 kilometers, which is the speed of the motorized. So yeah, we definitely want to get that added, to get that changed, I should say. That's going to keep on messing me up, guys. We'll just have to wait till it dissipates and not use that button anymore until it disappears. But yeah, I was thinking convoys all throughout here. Yeah, they're just losing so many convoys trying to cross the Atlantic to put more troops into the Caribbean, which, as you can see here, look at how many troops they have. As I said, I think eventually they're going to win here because they just have so many troops. Now, they don't have very good, you know, strength here because of the lack of convoy efficiency. Yeah, eventually that's going to result in a win, guys. There's no way around it. But we do have these troops over here now. So we'll get them set up on a little bit to do like a naval invasion. We also got that 1940 carrier hull. Fantastic. I want to say there might not be anything that we need for the carriers, because I believe we already have the dual purpose. Yeah, we got the dual purpose. Obviously, the anti-airs is needed. I suppose you could start working on that to get the next level of anti-air, but I don't think we'd wait on that to build the carriers, though we already have 2 carriers going. So you know what? We should wait until we get this one finished up in September. So that's the way we'll do that. And maybe we'll be able to get the anti-air done in time? Probably not. Yeah, we only have like, I don't know, a little over a month. So we wouldn't have that done, but we might wait, because we do have 2 carriers currently building. Alright, so we're going to try this attack again. So far, it has not succeeded, and it looks like these got all messed up. Damn it. Seems this division was assigned to that front. So we'll change this up. Let's go and take these locations. I do have a division here at the port. If we push him back to here, then he still has a port, so there's no reason to do it that way. Let's just take these locations here, get this done. Oops, he's supposed to be going over there. Alright, so we'll have him take that, and him go over this way. So just trying to get that finished up over there. We have dockyards finished up. I assume that was the yep, that was the attack cruiser that we finished building. All right, so let's go ahead and focus on getting some more submarines going, and probably these destroyers as well. So it's going to take a little while before we change those up, because we don't even have that tech just yet. So maybe put some more into the torpedo cruisers. Really just kind of focus on, or excuse me, torpedo destroyers. I keep mixing those up because I'm so used to having torpedo cruisers. But yeah, we'll focus on getting the destroyers done. We haven't had any more success here with the port strikes. I'm assuming that all their fighters are engaging us and intercepting us, and so that's the reason why we're not seeing any success. Yeah, they definitely control that air zone. All right, so that's unfortunate. I almost want to go ahead and put another fighter wing over there. I think we will, because I don't think they're contending for the English Channel. So it's probably better to put more fighters here to try and get control there, or at least have more success with our bombers, because I think they're just all getting intercepted. We don't have a cipher going. Let's go and do the French again for a second time. So yeah, just trying to get ready for this invasion. I thought we would invade them in this episode. It looks like that won't be the case. It's taking longer to get this done than anticipated. So we're going to attack them there. Let's have this guy grab this location and him grab that one. And then we'll be done over here and have all Africa wrapped up. Or at least the French territory in Africa wrapped up. And yeah, we'll do the invasion there after we do the invasion of France. That'll be our next focus. As far as what we're going to do with these divisions, not entirely sure yet. Probably send some to Asia, because we definitely need more over there. And probably some more into the Caribbean, because you can see that we're outnumbered here. Luckily, they're spreading out their attacks rather than focusing on one side, because if they did, they would win. Yeah, you can see that they're going to push us back here now. And somehow, they took the province behind us. So this division would get wiped out. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. We're going to need to fix it now, though. So we're going to bring this division over here and try and take that province again. We'll see if we can get over there in time. But yeah, that's a problem. And so then we'll move this guy over to here, because I really don't want them taking this location with the 20 oil. That'd be disastrous for us. I'll just give these guys their own commander here. There's somebody I wanted to get trained up. Yeah, the commando. So yeah, we're going to start training that commando up. Get him the invader trait, perhaps. So yeah, we'll have them set up to do this. They won't be able to assign just yet. That's okay. Yeah, sinking all these troop convoys and supply convoys. But it's not enough. We need assistance over here. So I think that might be where some of these divisions are going to go. Is over there, while the rest will go over to Asia. We almost have this finished up here as well. It looks like they're trying to send more troops into the sea, perhaps. Or excuse me, send more troops into this port. We'll have this guy come over here and help out. Yeah, they're definitely trying to go into that port. Alright, so now that we're done with that, let's go ahead and change up what we're doing here. Let's have... I mean, we can only put one more in that yellow army. That's interesting. We might have to create a new army. But yeah, we want one of these guys to come over here and help us out. And maybe one more to go into that location as well. Because that one should have a port, yeah. So we want to put one more into that one too, which means we have to get rid of one of the yellow army divisions in order to do that. Let me see if we have any over here that should be in our Asian army. We have 5 divisions in Hong Kong. It's going to be a lot more difficult for them to take that location now. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any yellow army divisions that we don't want to have in the yellow army. So I guess we'll just take anyone and put them, like this guy here can go into this army, and we'll make sure that they continue training. Just kind of open up one slot here so I can move one more division. Move this guy into that yellow army and get him coming over to this location. Although it might be impossible to click on that port. Oh, you know what? They probably aren't even in a port. That's what the issue is. So let's have them go into the port first and then come on over here. Because you know the AI usually can't figure that out for themselves. Alright. So it brings more troops over to that area so we don't lose it. And then the rest of these divisions are going to be going into the Asian theater, or we could also keep some of them in Africa for the invasion of South Africa. I think that might be what we end up doing. Let's make sure these guys are going over to a port. I didn't do that yet. Put them over here. And then we're going to move them over to this area here. Probably right here. Right now. Yeah, we'll move them over there. And then the rest of the divisions over here will stay in their current army. And we're going to create a new front with South Africa. So we want to move these divisions over here so we can figure out how bad the supply situation is going to be. So I know how much I need to build up. Like supply hubs, infrastructure, rails, all that kind of stuff. So we want to see how bad it is. So we'll get the troops moving over there as they finish up this area here, which they keep pumping troops over here. That's where all these troop convoys are going, is to this port. They're trying to keep their presence in Africa. And so that might be a little bit of a problem. We got the improved computing machines. Fantastic. So that's another research bonus for us. Again, we're not going to do the atomic research. Just going to take too long to do when we have so many other things to do. Maybe we'll do it a little bit later. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that we currently need. Let's just focus on getting these naval techs done. So we're going to go in and go after the depth charges next. That'll be 52 days. We do have another one of those cruisers done. So let's just go ahead and pump into destroyers, because again, this will be the last thing that we're updating. Also the submarines too. And I suppose we can get more convoys. And maybe put a few more into convoys. In fact, let's just pull back on one of these, so we'll have one going towards convoys that isn't damaged. All right, excellent. So we'll want to go and take those cruisers. This is just an extra destroyer we have here. Want to take these and put them, I guess one of them is currently repairing. Not sure how he got damaged up over here. You know what, we'll do all this next episode. I want to try and make some progress here so we can do these invasions. So I'm just trying to get this here finished up. I suppose we could probably launch it as soon as these guys here are done training. That's really all we're waiting on. This tank division, he's going to have a lot of training because we increased his numbers by so much. We might not even wait till he gets up to regular, because it'll just be waiting too long. Probably just wait for him to get to regular and him to get to the trained, is what I'm thinking. Now we could launch the invasion up here in the north. I think these guys are all ready to go. So yeah, we could do that. And what we're going to want to do is take this Mediterranean fleet here, which should be located in that place. And we could send them over here so they can support. And I think that's what we're going to do. Let's bring them over here. We'll start moving over there. And we'll do that invasion first. And maybe that'll clear up the south and make an invasion there easier. If we can succeed here. Which we might fail. That's a real possibility that we could fail with that invasion. We got another dockyard. Just put it into the convoys for now. Until we're ready to get the battleships going. Which we need that 16 experience. That's all we're waiting on. And this gives us some time to get some destroyers built. Still not actually sinking anything over there with those tactical bombers, unfortunately. And let me make sure we didn't lose here. We might have. We're just holding out barely. Let's go and take this location now and move over here. So they'll have an area to retreat from. But technically those units are cut off from supply. Again, I'm not entirely sure how they got behind us like that. They could have done a naval invasion here, but then where did the unit go? Like, why didn't they take the rest of this territory? So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. So we have the armor, we have the cruisers, and so we just need the guns for them before we design those. Because I like to design them once we have everything, rather than trying to, you design them and then you have to update them, and you got to use dockyards to update them, and it's just better to wait, in my opinion. That's what I prefer doing anyways. I know everybody has different preferences in that regard. So I guess we're going to start working on the stuff for the destroyers next, which we're already doing the depth charges, so you need the actual destroyers. But let's get the guns real quick. 53 days. Knock those out. More convoys sunk throughout here. All right, that's excellent. So basically for this invasion here, all we're waiting for is for that fleet to arrive, which it looks like they're already here. Okay, so we're ready to do that now. And so what we need to do at this point is probably go ahead and have these fighters here get us a bonus there, and then we'll have to stop doing the port strike for at least a time. Since they're helping on this one, we might want to have these close air support help with this one here. So let's keep the port strike going, because I think we're going to move some of these close air support that are doing the naval bombing mission. Let's get them moving back over to here. And they'll do the, well, we'll do the port strike temporarily. Go ahead and do the more ground crews as well. And I think that's it for close air support. Now we still have these guys here as well. Alright, well, we're not even hitting anybody there, so let's move them too. So move them over, actually we'll move them over to here. And they will also do port strike for now, just till we get all the planes over here and we're ready to do that invasion. So we'll launch the invasion right before we end the episode here. Kind of a cliffhanger, I suppose. Alright, so these guys are all done, so they should be moving over to this front here now, which I did want 5 divisions, so I think that should be 5 now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we have 5 over here. Let's just make sure they're all going over there, though. And then these guys are going to Asia, and we're just hoping they don't get engaged on the way. They are very close to getting that unit destroyed, so let's, or, you know, I guess yeah, I suppose he would get destroyed. So let's do an attack real quick. Just trying to help him out a little bit. And we have this division to get his organization back up and get his entrenchment up. Remember, we're sending another division over there. That'll take him a little bit of time to get over there, but that should help out in that location. Just trying not to lose over there. It's not a major area. I'm actually surprised that the French are focusing so much on that location. We do have the political power to do something. It's probably been sitting up there for a little while. And we're going to change up our conscription laws. We don't have any manpower. So we're going to limited conscription here. And that should help out quite a bit. And now we can actually get some troops training up. We do have one thing left to do with the Armored Yeomen, which again is, well, we have a lot of things left to do with them. But one more thing that I really wanted to do before the invasion started, which is to get the Armored Recon Company. So let's go and save that, and then we're going to go and start building these. Get some tank units out there. We'll see how many we can get. We can do 4 before we run into light tank shortages, so we'll get 4 going. Alright, fantastic. So we actually have some tanks training up. And I suppose we can also add some Black Watch in there. So we'll get a few of these guys going too. See how many we can get. We probably don't want this many, due to lack of equipment, and, you know, while we did just change the conscription laws, it will take them some time to actually get that manpower up there. We don't want to have any support equipment shortages because we have some adjustments, or a lot of adjustments to make. So I think we're just gonna do like 6 divisions. I think that's fine. So do 6 divisions, have them deploy when they're ready, and we'll train them up out there. So yeah, still sinking a lot of convoys coming through here. I'm hoping we can get most of the Chinese troops sunk in the sea, so we don't have to see them here and fight them here, which I do think that's where they're going. I mean, where else could they be going? But I do assume that's where they're heading to. Did we get the planes over here? Let me just make sure that they're here. And if they all are, then we're ready to go. 24th of August. Okay, so we'll wait till the 25th, and then we'll do that invasion. And we're now able to do more port strikes. It seems they moved their fleet over to here. That's smart of them, trying to avoid our bombers. And so now we're able to engage them again, do a little bit of damage to them. It's like that convoy. One more day, and then we'll be ready here. It does look like this division very well might get defeated before that other division gets here. We tried doing this attack, and that did not work. So we're just going to have to wait on that. Try and do that again to try and help them out. They just have too many divisions here. Now, luckily, it is really difficult to cross straits. We also have military factories. Let's go and get this assigned. We'll take a look, see exactly what it is that we're shortest on. Though I think we know that we're pretty short on support equipment. So I think that's what we're going to put into here. We have, I think, 3 factories. Yeah, 3. We'll put 1 more into the support equipment. All right, so let's go and switch all of our planes up from the port strike to close air support. We'll do that with all of these for right now. Alright, so that looks solid. It seems they have more planes over here now. We could move these fighters. I know they lose their efficiency when we do that. That's okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and send the Red Army, led by William Slim, on this invasion here. We'll see how this goes. We'll see if either of them are successful. Was that the hope that they are? That they just don't have enough troops to stop us here? So that one right now is successful. It's just a cav unit. And this one is also looking like it'll be successful. Now that could change. The situation there could definitely change. But as of right now, they're both successful. So that's fantastic news. We have lost some trains, as we've been notified of, due to enemy bombing. Looks like we lost 24 due to enemy bombing. So they are messing our trains up pretty bad. And so now we're going to need to probably put another factory into that if we keep getting hit here. Because we just don't have any fighters here. I guess that's the issue. We got them all focused on this area here, which I think is the best way to do it. I think we should be focusing on helping out our invasions. But yeah, we do need more fighters here. I guess since they don't have anybody in the channel... Oh no, they do. They have bombers in the channel. I was going to say we can move them over to here, but yeah, that's not an option either. Do we have anything in the stockpile? We do. We have some fighters in the stockpile, so we'll just move them out of the stockpile. And that's how we'll do this. So it'll probably be really old fighters, I assume. Yeah, it's going to be older fighters. That's okay. And we won't train them or anything. We're just going to put them straight onto air superiority and try and get some assistance here in southern England. Alright guys, so unfortunately that will have to be the end of today's episode. Right when things are getting interesting here with the invasion of France, and hopefully those are both successful. We'll have to wait till next episode to find out. And then over here, we're just about done. It's just these two troops here that I'd like to get trained. And remember, as we open up the fronts here, they'll pump troops over that way, which will open up the south to invasion. So we'll do those invasions next episode, which remember will be the last one before we take our vacation. I'll talk about that more in the next episode. I did want to take a look at the casualties here. Sitting at 60,000. So not very many casualties for us this episode. Well, the French have taken 651,000, so I think we've done like 200,000 casualties to them for less than 10,000 on our side. That's pretty fantastic. Yeah, that's great. And we killed 25,000 Chinese troops in the sea over here. So I think we've done quite a bit this episode when it comes to killing our enemies. So yeah, with Africa done, which I'm not sure why we were red there. But yeah, with this done, I guess we still got to take Madagascar and the little islands here. So go after those as soon as we have some spots open for invasions. We'll need to send some ships over here too, or we won't be able to do the invasions. So we'll have to send, I don't know, maybe these guys because they're close. We don't have a lot over there. But yeah, you could just extend this technically just over to these two zones so you can do that invasion real quick. I suppose that's what we would do. So yeah, we'll do that, and just trying to hold on to our territory in the Caribbean as the French focus more and more on this area. I'm not entirely sure why it's so important to them, but yeah, they just keep on pumping troops over here. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.